Catchupalooza video. Today we're going to be taking a look at New York Zoo, a game that was recently on my top 100. I am Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Wendy Yi.
I'm Chris Yi.
All right, so this game was recently on my top 100, New York Zoo. Tom, you've played it.
I have.
And
in
you
fact,
guys...
I reviewed it, and you can see a link of how to play it in the description.
Check it out. Down below, we won't be doing an overview. Yes, go to his video to see the how to play. You guys had not played this.
We have not.
No, and I was fairly ashamed of that.
Okay.
Have you played the other ones from him?
No, not the Spring Meadow or the Summer
Were you
Autumn
ashamed
Festival.
of that?
Or less.
Okay, that's a shame. No. So I've been working in the library, and I've had to pull this game out like 3 times because we were missing a couple pieces, and then we got some other stuff that I needed to add, and then this, that, and the other. So I've looked at this game in this last like 3 months, like 5 times. And I've been like, there's so many pieces. I want to play this.
I love this theme. I like polyomino games a ton. I rank many of them very, very highly. And so this is one of those that, and I like Capstone. They tend to make like a good production, good rules and all that stuff. And so it's just one of those that kind of slipped through the cracks. And I thought, I'd like to play that one day.
All right, but were you satisfied with the theme part of it?
Was I satisfied with the theme part of it? I like the way that it integrates animals into the zoo. So it's a polyomino game. I didn't expect like a ton of thematic experience, but something about mixing the Uwe Rosenberg. If you have 2 animals in the same pen,
They have babies.
they will breed and create a new
works.
thing. And you can't mix
A new
2
thing.
animals because the horse will eat the cow, kind of a thing. But it makes more sense in a zoo exhibit where you don't want to have penguins in your flamingo exhibit. That'd be weird if the kids would point and laugh at it. So
I think my only question is, why are there dogs and why are there not lions? I think that's really my
Aren't they
only
like
question.
dingoes?
they're wolves.
Are they wolves? Okay.
They're white foxes.
Why are there wolves and not lions?
They're foxes?
What's wrong with
Those are
lions? It's
foxes.
colors.
Foxes.
It's a color thing, I think.
It's a color thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, because orange is, I guess, maybe too close to flamingo.
I think that for a lot of people, if you played the other ones, Fall, Autumn, Spring, or if you played Barren Park, this one feels different than the other ones because you're putting stuff on the tiles, and it's all about filling them up to get those bonuses, which is again, I feel like this one just has a different feel than the rest. If you just want to throw down stuff in your zoo, fill it in, you might be thrown off by this one. I think you might not even like it, maybe. If you're just someone who wants to just fill in stuff.
Right. Just go with the polyominoes and just work that puzzle.
Which fill
kind of
in is how you end the game.
Right.
So that's interesting that you can't.
No, I know that, but it's done in a different way. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm just, having played those other ones, this one felt like a left turn to me.
I mean, it is a balance of the 2 things. It's a balance of getting the right shaped polyominoes out, but also making sure you're maximizing that breeding to get the bonus exhibits in. You know, so it's a little bit more of a balancing than I think in some
I think one
polyomino
thing that I
games.
enjoy about this is that balance of decision making of, do I want to grab larger tiles that are then harder to fill in with animals? Do I want to grab smaller tiles so that I can breed more animals, but then they fill in less of my board, which is how I win? Do I want to add animals to my zoo? Do I want to grab tiles? Like, there's some interesting, like, very dichotomous, what's that word? Dichotomous? There you go. Decisions in this game that surprised me.
Yeah.
I didn't think that would be so much there.
Okay.
And it's funny because we went through the rules, we read everything, and Wendy taught this one to me, and I didn't realize it didn't click that like, oh, you win when your board is filled in. There's no points.
Yeah, he kept waiting for the points. Like, when do I get?
How
when
do I
score?
maximize? Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. When I have 700 flamingos in my park, how many points do I get? When I have, the most penguins at the end of the game, as is my only goal in life, how many points do I get? And it's just, no, you just fill in the board. And that kind of threw me for a loop. It's kind of that left turn, breaking expectation from this type of game that you were talking about, Tom.
Yeah, because I think that's the other thing. I think it's kind of in the middle of those games. So if you're like, it's all about getting animals, this ain't that either.
Not about,
Yeah.
And then you clear them off. I'm like, but the penguins are gone. It almost feels disappointing if you're like looking at it that way.
Yeah.
That's another one of those different decisions of, do I want to just let this tile fill up, or do I want to pull a couple animals off so I can add another tile to my board? But I'm splitting my kangaroos.
And
now
you're starting over with that.
Yeah.
Right. So I guess back to your point here, I think that you win the game, it's a race. First one done wins. No points or anything. How did you feel about that? Did you like that aspect of the game, or did it throw you off?
I think it's good because there's enough rules going on. In fact, we played this the first time we played this, we kept getting tripped up on the little animal placement rules and the timing of things. There's surprisingly more rules than I expected, because I expected this to be like a Baron Park kind of game. Get a tile, put a tile.
Yeah.
But there's some management of that. So I'm okay with the fact that the end game is so clean that I don't have to then sit there and say, okay, how many penguin points? And then, okay, majority in kangaroos and all that stuff. I like that. It's just, I placed the last tile, I covered up the last square, we're done here.
Right.
I'm curious how often you tie. Because I know there were like tiebreaker rules. If you end at the same time, it depends on this person did this thing first or this and that.
never
and the
I've
other.
never tied.
You've never tied,
I've
okay.
never tied, no.
Because
I've also never won.
we didn't
I've
tie
won.
last time we played, but I was worried we were, and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how to win.
Is there
Right.
a tiebreaker, or is it just the
Interesting.
first person?
there is.
I don't even know if there is a
There's
tiebreaker
something.
because, and so I guess this was going to be the next part I want to talk about is kind of like the graphic design, like how you liked it. One thing I really like about the game is that there's a specific first player board, second player board, third player board, and the map is a little bit different
Yeah.
in the difficulty to fill it in, whether it's size or the difficulty, the weird shapes, angles, that kind of stuff, to accommodate that. So if that's already accommodated, I'm wondering if there's a need for a
There was, because it
tiebreaker.
depended whether or not the game ended with breeding or without breeding.
Oh.
So it was like whoever's
That's right,
turn
yeah.
it was on, I think, won the tie. But if it was on breeding, then there was some other rule.
I think it's
Dude,
just
look
like if it's your turn, you breed
You're like
first,
doing a
therefore you
deep
win.
dive into tiebreaker rules?
Right.
Well, because I was
We're gonna
worried
deep
that I was
dive
gonna
into a
die.
situation
There's
that's
no
not
point.
happened.
How are you worried about this? I never. All right.
So
was
for the
close.
most part, the end of the game is really clean,
Right.
with the exceptions Wendy's bringing up.
Yeah.
Of the way Wendy stresses over things. One, I have to say there are a couple things that were negatives for me when playing this. One was what Chris said, that there's different rules depending on each player count, and they're on the board in iconography stuff, but it's not something that I easily think to reference, I guess. So like when we breed in a 2-player and a 3-player game, you get to do an extra wild breed, but in higher player counts you don't. But then in a 2-player game, you start with 6 tiles on your board, but then you don't in another player. Like I just
Right.
felt like it was weird how different it was per player count. So that was one thing that I struggled with. And then 2, there's 4 shades of green in this game.
Oh, okay.
So your 7, 6, 5, 4 size paddocks are different shades of green, and so we kept mixing them up, and you were putting away
I
all
can
the
see
7s
that.
together.
It's a little carpe diem.
It's a little, yeah. I'm just like, why did
but
they
you-
pick all green?
I think it's.
Like
I think
there's-
they were actually unlike Carpe Diem. They were actually trying to make it look.
Right.
I was like,
You
you
are
didn't
in
just do it
grass.
all the same, or just do, like, make it different.
We should have like a different color border or something for
something,
it, you know,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
a black or a red, you know, something like that. Because I have had, I've always been able to figure it out, like, oh, it's that one. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Yeah.
so you
It just
can
takes a
figure it
second
out, but
more.
it does. Yeah, I do. But I like the way it looks out there because you do stack them in order, so they get smaller as you go closer to the end game. So I like that effect. And as far as the rules, so it's the iconography on the board, I will 100% agree with that. I have tried to reference it a couple times, and even then it's like, just give me the rule book. Like, it's just like,
Like, I
it's
just
just
gotta read it
a
out.
clunky iconography on the board that's trying to help and fails pretty spectacularly, I think.
I think that's the biggest downside. Yeah, a more functional player aid would
Right.
be helpful.
Yeah.
One other downside. We played this at 2-player because we often do, and there's more exceptions rules-wise for 2-player games than I was kind of expecting.
There's a whole back section in
Right.
the rule book instead of it being the main rules.
And it's not bad, but
not
it
bad.
was a trip up just to get the animal placement rules, and then also remember the 2-player difference rules.
Right.
But once it gets going, I think that this is one of those games that will just stick easier.
Right.
Yeah.
It rewards once you get the rules.
I feel
It's
like
harder
there's
to get on,
logic
but
to
yeah.
it. It's just, it's remembering them.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so in these we do our 3 ratings: our buy it, our bring it, or our bury it. So I guess we'll start over here, Chris. What do you think?
This one for me is a solid bring it. If you bring it, I'm interested in playing it. It mixes a weird array of things that Uwe Rosenberg loves. This polyomino thing that he's just fell in love with, the animal breeding thing that he's done forever. It kind
He's a secret animal breeder, I'm sure.
the kind of patchwork-ish movement around the main thing to
My favorite
pick your
part.
tiles. It's interesting, but and it's different. I think it has a place, and I think that if I play it more, I will let some of those rules quibbles kind of go away, and then I'll this one I could see moving up for me. So it's a solid bring it. I would have fun playing this. more and with more players.
Yeah.
Nice. Mine is also Bring It. I really enjoy polyomino games. I enjoy that puzzle of working on the board. I think the animal breeding is, it adds an interesting, different element to it. At the end of the day, I don't know if this is going to supersede really any of the other polyomino games that I've played, but I'll definitely play it.
Mine is a bury it. I'm kidding. Mine is a buy it. However, with the caveat of, I think it's a polyomino game for gamers. I say this because there's so many light ones out there. Patchwork, Uwe Rosenberg's designed half of them. But then there's Phil Walker Harding with Barron Park. But I think there's easier ones out there. But of the ones Uwe Rosenberg has done, this is my favorite, actually. I like this better than the rest because it feels like there's more meat. I love the rondelle part, moving around. I like the animal. I like animal breeding in games. I don't know why. It just makes me happy. I'm like, there's a baby, the baby seal now, or whatever the animals are. I like that. It just feels. It's watching things grow. I think more than animal breeding.
Does it make you feel like you're
it's like
grandpa to all those little animals?
No, it does not. If you own a cat, you're not a parent. Okay, that's a side note here. But anyhow.
Shots fired!
So I just want to. Anyhow, I really like the game. Sorry for taking the entire thing.
Go ahead and insult some more people while you're at it.
Go ahead.
For me, it's a buy. This is in my personal collection. I love it. I like what you said. It's a polyomino game for gamers. I do want that deeper. The rules are a little clunky to get down. The when you can breed, how you can breed, how many you get, and that. But once you get it down, I think it's so rewarding. And with the rondelle, we've seen that in other games. How far do you want to go? You can go up to 4 spaces. I want to go 1 because I hope that you only go 2 spaces because then I can get the tile I really want. Or I need to stall breeding a little bit until I get, I just really like the decisions of that and the balance that we talked about of, getting more shapes in the shape you want versus breeding and splitting your pens up. I really enjoy the decision space of this game. So.
And there's penguins, which are the mightiest animal in all of nature.
We didn't talk about components, but honestly,
no lions and tigers.
That's my least favorite of them. Why is it so big?
The penguin?
Why is it so big
They're emperor
comparatively?
penguins.
What's so big?
The
The
penguins?
penguin. The penguin meeple
I don't
is
have a
so
problem with
big.
Word, who cares?
And why is it the only 2 colored ones?
I like that
Why?
touch because penguins
Really?
are the best animal in this game by far.
Say that to the meerkats.
Not even gonna hold a candle to that
mean
penguin.
it. He probably does mean it.
Actually, penguins are pretty cool.
Wait, you're complaining about the size of the penguins, but the meerkats are giant!
Yes, he should be.
My word.
I'm with you, Tom. I don't know what's going on here.
All right, that was New York Zoo. Until next time, I'm Camilla Cleghorn.
I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Wendy Yi.
I love penguins. I'm Chris.
Chris Yi. All right, we'll see you next time.
You said my name in case I actually forgot to.
You know what I really want for these? I want the ones like in parks where it's the clear stickers that just have like some black lines.
Oh crap!
Oh, the
Are we recording
ads.
on your card? No, we're on my card, right?
Oh, do you have room? Because this is an important
No,
discussion.
yeah, we just played a
Okay.
room. I just want to make sure we were recording on Royd's card.
Got it. Okay, we're recording
Well,
right now.
Roy's
How much
trying to
room
work
are we
out the
wasting?
argument.
Oh, we are recording.